Warren Sharp here. Super Bowl 55 in the books, the 2020 NFL season in the books. Where does that leave us? Well, fortunately, the season never really ends. We just turn the page. Now it's 2021. We've got free agency, we've got the draft, and we've got NFL futures on the horizon, not very far from now. A lot of great things that we're going to be covering over the next several months. I will be digging back deep into how these teams got to where they did in 2020, where I think they're going to go in 2021, and break down the season as we get closer to that point in time. But I just want to say, love doing these videos with you. We had some great recap videos early in the week, looking back at coaching decisions, applauding some guys, criticizing others. We had some great videos doing previews about what we thought we were going to see in some of the upcoming games, and a lot of fun going back and forth on those. Really enjoyed your interaction with me on those videos, and I had a lot of fun sharing them with you and sharing some of my insights into the 2020 NFL season as we progressed week by week. Where would we be, though, without talking briefly about the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl was a great one. Not so much if you were rooting for Kansas City, but it still was great to watch this chess match. And the biggest thing about this Super Bowl that I found the most intriguing overall was that coaching matters. We talked about at the beginning of the playoffs how big coaching was going to be in the 2020 playoffs. And this game, it mattered more than any other. And why did it matter so much? Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers changed many of the things that we didn't necessarily think that they would. I wrote a big 55-page report detailing what I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to do offensively, what I thought the Tampa Bay Bucs were going to do offensively, and then provided advice for both of those teams and suggestions as to how to achieve the easiest and quickest path to victory. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there were a number of things that they needed to do more of. So let's walk through a few of those and comment on whether they did them or not, because it was ironic how many of these things they did. We would love to have seen them throw more passes on first down. You know what? They had the highest pass rate on first downs in the first half of any of their playoff games in the Super Bowl. And when they ran the ball, they were able to be very productive, averaging 6.3 yards per carry on those runs. So a very efficient first down, whether they passed it or they ran it, which was vital because we talked about how important it was for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to avoid third downs. Kansas City, top 3 defense in the NFL on third and longs. Tampa Bay has to avoid these third down situations because it's probably not going to go as well for them as it went against Green Bay in the NFC Championship. Lo and behold, that's exactly what ended up happening. We'll talk about them being able to avoid them, but look at what happened when they did get forced into third downs. When they were forced into third downs, Tom Brady on third down passes, 7 dropbacks, was sacked once. The other 6 plays, he averaged only 2.4 yards per pass attempt, minus 0.54 EPA, and converted first downs only 2 of 7 plays. So they were terrible on third down, just like we predicted. We said, be much more efficient on early downs. And they did. And they did a couple things to ensure that they would be more efficient. We already talked about first down passing. They raised that a little bit more. We know that they ran the ball very well when they were running it on first down. They also were great using play action. We begged them to use a lot more play action. They used play action on 67% of their first down passes, the highest rate of the season on those first down passes, 7 of 8, 12 yards per attempt, 75% success, plus 0.67 EPA. They threw 2 touchdown passes on first down play action, 2 of their 3 total touchdown passes. And you know what they did when they threw on first down without the play action? Only 4.3 yards per attempt and minus 0.23 EPA. Overall, their splits over the course of the entire game, significantly better when they were using play action than when they were not. So it was vital they used it more. We didn't know if they were going to use it more. They used it at some of the highest rates of them anytime this season. So it was incredible to see them use it more and have a lot of production. The other thing we said, target the tight ends, and specifically target the tight ends when they're in line. Not in the slot, because Kansas City does really well against those, but in line tight ends. Look at what they ended up doing. 63% success rate targeting inline tight ends with 9.3 yards per attempt, plus 0.78 EPA, and 2 Rob Gronkowski touchdowns. You know where those both came from? When Gronk was lined up in line at the end of the line of scrimmage, not when they split him out into the slot. Very, very smart by Byron Leftwich. We also said call more aggressive plays on early downs inside of the red zone, avoid those third downs where Kansas City's so good. Tampa Bay had 3 red zone touchdowns. 2 of them came on first down play calls. 1 of them came on a second down play call. They didn't fare so well on those third downs or fourth down when they attempted it, but they were great when they were playing aggressively on those early downs. So they did so many of the things that we said they needed to do. We just didn't know if Byron Leftwich was going to go this aggressive route, and he did, and it paid off major dividends for them. Now, there's a number of things that Todd Bowles did well defensively that really gave fits to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. I mean, we asked them to play this 2 high safety look, keep the middle of the field open, not closed with a single high safety. They played 2 high safety on 59 of 68 dropbacks. That's 87%. According to Next Gen Stats, that was the highest rate for Todd Bowles on the defensive side of the football in 5 years. 5 years. They also rarely needed to blitz because they were able to get home with pressure. They didn't blitz hardly at all, only 9.6% of all dropbacks. That too was the lowest rate for any Todd Bowles defense in the last 5 years. Todd Bowles did a great job with this game plan. Byron Leftwich did a great job with the game plan. Bruce Arians says he was along for the ride. I bet that's not necessarily the case, but he did a great job with the game plan as well. And of course, Tom Brady's influence and involvement in coming up with this game plan and watching a lot of film. These guys pressed all the right buttons, put the right plays into the game plan before the game even started, so that they had a clear, efficient path to victory during the course of this game. As I said at the top, coaching matters. It mattered majorly in this game. Kudos to those coaches for making the right calls before the game to implement all of these things that were necessary to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, shout out to the players themselves that executed the game plan. Great job all around for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And where does this leave us? A team with a great defense was able to shut down Patrick Mahomes. Is this really the recipe, playing this 2 deep safety look? We'll talk more in the offseason about some defenses shifting more to 2 high safeties and what that means for offenses and how offenses can counterpunch that, because we actually saw that really cause problems for both the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl as well as for the Seattle Seahawks when teams started doing that to them and Russell Wilson in that offense during the second half of the season up in Seattle. So we know that it caused trouble for a couple of teams. How can these offenses attack that better? Overall though, look at the last 4 teams that made it as far as any other team in the playoffs. We saw 3 outstanding offenses, plus Tampa Bay was emerging. They had gotten better and better and better over the course of the season in terms of being an efficient offense. We're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills. This is still an offense-driven league, still dependent a lot on offenses being efficient, moving the football, and having defenses that aren't necessarily quite up to speed as those offenses. And I think that's still where we're going to go in the 2021 season. But it's going to be fun researching everything along the way. Really looking forward to putting in some more videos this off season and sharing some analysis that I come up with you guys. But until that point in time, stay safe, have a great start to the off season. And we've already flipped the page. It is 2021.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.